So other than a small glare, I guess it looks alright, don't it? Hopefully you can see everything. I blowed everything up as big as I could. I normally use my mouse, but doesn't feel right at the moment. So I'm gonna leave my settings. I'll just do it a quick way, I guess. Good word right down there at the bottom. That's where mine's at, or because everything's always in your, where all my apps are, everything, top deal startup. Mine's just different. I have a HP. Um, it's not a bad laptop. I didn't pay but $450 for it at Walmart. Um, Works really well. It's actually really, really fast. So basically, when you're in Word, this is what your screen looks like, and that's going to be typical. Um, Mine's going to look a little funny because it's going to blow it up a little so you can see it. Um, but I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to Insert. Well, first thing I did when I got here, we'll back up. I'm going to go to Word and start all up and all over. Alright. Well, first thing I did is I'm here. Alright. I got all this. I'm going to do that. I come and insert first. Other people just go ahead and size their piece of paper, but I'm printing off on 8.5 by 11. And I'm assuming you probably are too. So, I double click here. I'm going to go to pictures. I'm going to go down to this device. And it's going to take me, where my folders are. I'm not sure exactly where it is. I'm just going to pick one. Back to, that's it, isn't it? Right there. It's a PNG file. It's the right size. It's big. Bam. Sorry for the sound effects. Alright, so you're going to click on it. It's popped up with them little squares. When it's like that, you can work on that image. Do pretty much all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to center it in the middle of it. Sometimes it's got little green lines that tell you when you're dead middle of the thing. I'm not sure where those are at right now. It might be because of the way I got it blowed up. But as you can see, it's got a little white square there that I'm inside of. And then I'm going to click on this guy. Layout options. He's important. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave fixed position on page there. And I'm not going to put move the text or nothing because that's a fixed image already. It's not something we're putting together. I'm going to go to see more down here. And then I'm going to go, so this has got position. I usually don't mess with it. I just turn bidirectional off on my printer and it does not matter. However, whatever, none of that matters. Got text wrapping. You can see I got distance from text, top, bottom, 0, 0. From left to right, just both, 0.13, whatever. That doesn't matter. You can change it to 0. But that's not what we're worried about at the moment. Then I go to size. So you got size here. It's going to say absolute there and there, right? And then what you want to do, and if you don't do this, see this down here, lock aspect ratio, you're going to cut that off. That guy is not fun, and he's not cool to have to mess with. And you're going to come down here, and you're going to cut relative to original picture size off as well. Because if you leave either one of those two on, one thing's going to happen each time. It does not matter if they're both on or just one of them's on. And it doesn't matter what combination. It's going to change the size of your image every time you try to. Or it's going to change the size of your image when you go to transfer it to print. And it is annoying. And it'll literally make your image a 1/16 of an inch too, not wide enough to go around it. And it's annoying. Okay, my stuff's already, in inches. So I don't know if you've done that. But I'm gonna do it for what random size do I have? I can just put it on real quick, or that I would. I'm not gonna waste a piece of paper. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'll do it for 12, which I'm Oh, well, I got something right here. I'm just have to throw a number on it real quick and measure it. I'm planning ahead for that one. Yeah, I got a 20. Good old regular 20-ounce tumbler. And these tumblers, I've ordered the same brand and from the same company on Amazon since I started. I like them. They're really good. They come with a nice, pretty little display box. They're a little more expensive, and they only come 24 in a case, but it averages out to like $4.80 a piece when I buy them. And I normally only get a case of 24 at a time, and that's about average. And I get them through Amazon, so my shipping's free. It kind of equals out sometimes a little bit there. But I'm gonna change the size here to this. Is my height there? So I'm gonna go to 9. No, that's not right. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna go to 8.1, because my tumblers are just a hair over 8 exactly inches tall. And I like for it to roll over on the bottom just a little bit. Then I'm gonna come over here to width. You know, just like anything else you would do with a computer. And then I'm gonna make this 9.33. And that's the size my tumblers are. It's actually just, it's a little bit smaller than that, so that gives me a little room of error, because I cut by hand with like a razor blade and on a cutting board and a ruler. And you see it's got the scale down here now, and that's what it is. Since I've changed those numbers of what the original size is, or what it's supposed to be, just means anyway. It's not making no sense. But see, I turn the aspect ratio back on, and then watch this. I'm gonna say okay. I'm gonna center it back in here, or you can come there's somewhere over here. You can just press a button and do it. It might be gone because my screen's blowed up. But you can kind of tell when the little lines in there. It's pretty close size. So I'm gonna come here. It actually stayed, but I'm gonna go back and cut it off because I'm thinking I clicked the one that makes it do it when I go to print it. We're just going back to size. I'm gonna leave it there. Just turn this one on. Okay, we'll move it around. If I change something, it'll mess it all up, and you will do it. And you want to be paying attention. I always do it here because it's easier for me to see. I'm 40 something years old, or almost 40. Everything's still 8.1933. I'm gonna cut that off. I'm gonna say okay. And if you wanted to, you can come over here. You can do some color corrections. You can sharpen it. You know, you just gotta make sure you're inside that little box there. You can actually, right here, there's position. You can come right here and see. Look, you hit all them little squares. It says, bam! I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of my piece of paper, my 8.5 by 11. Then I'm going to go. I did a little color correction. I mean, you can do some more. You got brightness and contrast if you want to play with them, whatnot. It doesn't matter. They even give you a little, but it shouldn't need it. And you got here, and you got all kinds of goodies. I do like to mess with the color saturation sometimes. It just depends on what kind of printer I was using. The ink, this printer, not so much. But I'm gonna leave it there. But we're just gonna go over here to File, and this is the way mine works. I'm hoping yours does too, because you got everything downloaded on your computer for your printer to be connected to it, correct? And set as default and things like that. I'm gonna come right here. This little button says print. So I'm using the Epson ET1500 series. It's ready. There's my image. It's blowed up to 50%. It's inside my piece of paper. I'm gonna go here to printer properties. I'm gonna make sure that it is on landscape. and that my paper size is correct. And I'm using presentation Matty is my setting actually, and high quality, and everything else is pretty much off. I got quiet mode on, so it prints slower, and it gives it time to dry, and I don't get issues like what people call pizza wheels. More options up here, and I got large document. You do not want reduce, just leave that alone. I don't mess with that. And like I said, yours might be different. I leave mine on automatic, which means my printer's drivers is going to do the work for me. And I mean, I got this little guy here. This is a photo. I can change them. It's kind of cool, right? But all it does is emphasize my thin lines, my image a little bit, and things of that nature. And this enhancement is just for text only, so where that's got the writing behind it is kind of good, and edge smoothing, all that funky dory stuff. But I'm gonna leave that there. I got bi-directional printing off, so it prints as slow as possible. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are like, it's too slow, blah blah blah. They complain. But when you start getting an issue where you got lines in your stuff that look like little bitty gears running through it because you're trying to go too fast and put too much ink down, you won't say a word. You will do it, especially when it starts costing you money. And see, I got my printer settings over here. This is the more deal. I have thick paper and envelopes on. I cut that off my printer. I print this out in like 3 minutes. With that on, it's going to take me a lot longer than that. Probably about 6. I'm going to turn this off because it actually speeds it up. Things like refined screen printing, pattern, print is bitmap, page rendering mode, always full raw data type. Those all make your printer move quicker. And see, I always use the driver's paper source settings. I don't need it. And this guy right here, if you ever run across it, make sure he's not on. Reduce print data size. That is another one that you will have everything set right, and your image will be just a little bit too small after you get it ready, and you go to wrap it, and it will be so close that you will not notice it until you're wrapping. See, I got allow applications to perform ICM color matching. That just means that the printer driver settings is doing all the work, guaranteed. And I can change my resolution. This image is actually at 360. I can do that if I want. I'm going to get wild because my printer will go up to 600 max. That's just per like a head nozzle, little hole in the print head itself. So I'm going to roll with it and get a little wild. Why not? I got print density. This is over here where I kind of really mess with some of my colors, get them a little darker. I'm going to turn it up. And that's on you. It took me a while to play with that to kind of know what color of images do how much with. So I had an Epson F170, which is a true sublimation printer, and I would turn it all the way up to 20% to get it as close as this one was on 5. And I'm gonna get okay. And I'm simply just going to press print. I mean, I'm gonna check here in landscape, but bam, and it'll print, and it'll be the right size. I mean, you can even make sure them little squares are on it there, and it should show you right here, 8.1, 9.33, just where I set it at. And there's a little extra stuff in there for you to know about. If it takes so long, my printer to print, I ain't gonna make you sit through all that. I'll just send you a picture of it once it's done.